it's the expectation that if we inform people and people are aware, that hopefully they will change their behavior. So hence the title, Forewarned is Forearmed in the Battle Against Invasive Alien Species. But as we've seen with so many other social problems like drugs and AIDS and everything else, trying to change public behavior is not really a very easy thing to do. And also, I'm learning that the medium through which you get change in behavior is really changing very rapidly. And we'll go into that a little bit on Friday with a mobile, an electronic game. The internet now is just so much information. So for example, I was trying to find the Heike Messner book on the internet by just typing in a name. And then a year or so ago, you just type in a name, the book would come up. Now it's very difficult to find it in a search. So now it's more important to have specialized sites where you can really package things and make it really accessible to the public. And that is one of the advantage of doing something like this. So this is a quick sensitization to give you a little history of it and to invite people to register because we're doing new things with the site. So let me go through the presentation. Well, these are the people that pay the bills. We really started, initially I think the project envisaged that each country would have done their own individual website. But we were very sensitive to the issue of sustainability from day one. And that was one of the things that was changed from the work program within the national level at the Inception workshop. And we all, actually there was no money for a regional website. And we all agreed as participating countries that we would redirect the funds to create a regional website with CABI being tasked to ensure that it was sustainable. CABI has a long history of information, and it is easy to get money and develop a website and seek funding to have it going. But one of the things we took from the beginning was not to really drive the process as a regional organization, but to have the countries drive the process, put up their information and all of that. So we are now in the stage where I think it is going to be sustainable and more people are coming on board. The idea was to be a one-stop shop for information on invasive species in the Caribbean. The target audience was the general public, technocrats for general information on invasives, technocrats, extension workers, plant quarantine officers, and the like, people involved in all aspects of SPS and so on. Policymakers, students, and research. And so basically we started off with like about 15 countries, and now we are with 22 countries with information on the site. We post up latest news, so from newspaper articles and so on. We have an events calendar that is not all the main events and invasive species in the Caribbean are posted up. We have a kids corner with not a whole lot of stuff for the kids, and I think this is one of the areas that we really need to concentrate on, to produce material that would sensitize kids and get them involved in understanding. For example, we've had the US, some good examples coming out from the US with the Nemo type thing targeting kids. We started off with a repository where we had a whole lot of information that it was being generated by the project and by the countries just being posted up. And that wasn't quite really working. So we had to, because you know, unless you knew something was on the site, it was actually very difficult to go and do a search and get it. So we've now, and I'll talk a little bit about that on Friday, we've had additional funding from the CEPF, and we now created, it is just going live, an experts register and a document library. So the experts register, I would like all of you to go onto the site and register as an expert in invasive alien species in the Caribbean. Just few people have signed up so far. So we really, in terms of finding people with particular skills to do things in the region, that would be a good place to find resource to exchange ideas on a one-on-one, to get advice in terms of unique problems and so on. And then the document library, it is now being converted into a virtual library where each article is abstracted and indexed so that it comes up in a search, whereas before it was very difficult to find things, because the way it works, unless it's tagged properly, and the search engine is not actually going and reading everything in the document, it may miss it in a search. So now, with the help of the Auckland Uni Services in New Zealand, we're building the capacity within the region to do that, and within the project, actually post-project, under this new CPF project, we are tagging all the information that is on the site, so it's now going to be easier to find things on invasive species and that is on the site. The other key thing, there's still a big disconnect between agriculture and the environment, and we all know that invasive species issues could affect trade, and there's a high sensitivity towards this issue. Lots of countries take the position that reporting a pest and a disease is the right of the country, and very often we know for a fact that in the Caribbean, we all know that something exists in country A, but they will never admit that they have it in country A. So that is something that people wanted to have the right to declare what is present in their country. So therefore, they wanted confidentiality, and we created, with support from the USDA APHIS, a private site that is, it seems seamless, but is actually a separate site, and it's controlled by a password. So only members of the Caribbean Plant Health Directors Forum have the password and have access to get into the site. But that was the only way they were willing to share some of their information. But I must tell you, in reality, that has not changed in terms of people putting up and sharing the information. It still really is very difficult for people to put up pest lists and so on. It's just the countries, mainly the countries that participated in this project, have their active lists up on the site. But we really, it is a facility that is available now for the entire Caribbean to post up and put up your pest alerts of things that are now emerging onto the site and share that almost on an instantaneous basis to the rest of the Caribbean, and the world rather. So we have redesigned the website twice since we started. First with USDA APHIS funding, additional funding from the USDA APHIS. And now currently we've just recently gotten, late last year, some funding from the CPF. And that would pay for a part-time web developer for the next 2 years. So we're really in a, it should have been finished in February, but Auckland Uni Services took much longer. So we're now a little bit behind, but you know, it is becoming a very dynamic site and a preferred place to go to for information on the invasive species. So you can see from this graph in 2013, by December of 2013, we were getting up to over 41,000 hits per month. If you drill down on that a little bit more, the unfortunate thing is most of those people are from the US. We have quite a few people, high percentage from Trinidad, but some of the smaller countries in the Caribbean, which is not unusual because CABI does these kinds of statistics, and the Caribbean on the whole are not going on the internet for this type of information. So it is growing. For example, in February 2014, we had over 86,000 hits on the site, and it's partly due to this additional project with CPF and promoting it and so on a little bit more. So that's it in a nutshell. Basically, it's a promo for the site for you all to just go and take a look. The internet is not that reliable in here. That's why I didn't choose to bring it up online and look at it online. But I really would like to implore all of you to go on and at least do two things. Pledge that you would not spread invasive species because there's a pledge on the site, and that you would register as an expert because people do actually seek out experts from time to time. Thank you very much.